Okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 2 of our 6-week series with James Ketchum from the Soundboard and Edge Theory. And we're so excited that tonight it's about Twitter engagement. And last week, I know we got so much value. So if you guys have not watched week 1, go back. We did post it in our Facebook page, and it will be housed on our resources section of our Team Empire website soon. So you can check there, if not our Facebook page. So with no further ado, because we want to get to the content tonight, I'm going to turn it over to James.
Very cool. Thank you very much. So yeah, tonight we're going to dive in a little bit more to how to connect with people on Twitter. Last week was a little bit just more functionality of the platform. So tonight's all about how to get involved in conversations, how to figure out what big conversations are going on, and then how to build your follower base a little bit. So if you recall last week, we've got our 5 steps to social media success we're going through. So this first little bit, we're thinking through the conversation side of things. How do we get involved in conversations that are going on? How do we figure out what conversations are going on? And then how do we respond when people are wanting to engage with us? So that's the thought for tonight. So first thing is hashtags. These have become really ubiquitous across so many platforms, but they got their start on Twitter. And so if you're unfamiliar, oops, wrong button. If you're unfamiliar with hashtags and how they work, Tara can't hear anything. All right, let's see. Tara, can you try a headset? So hashtags, think of it as a conversation unifying system, or like a conversation tagging system almost, because what it allows you to do is when you use a hashtag that other people are using, your content gets seen alongside the content of everybody else who's using that hashtag, regardless of whether or not people follow you. And so this is what has made Twitter such a powerful agent of social change, when you don't have to wait for the ABC News report. You know, if there's something going on, like the school shooting yesterday, that's, we hate to hear those kinds of news, but if you get on Twitter and look for hashtag school shooting, you are going to know what is going on up to the minute, because the person on the ground with the phone is providing the information. You do not have to wait for news outlets. So that's one way that hashtags are used, to just track minute by minute news events. But the other thing, which is, a little less intense, thankfully, is just using them to align yourself with particular conversations. And so there are vast quantities of healthy living conversations going on at any given time on Twitter. And so what we do at the Soundboard is, when we're tweeting for you, we're always looking for good hashtags to be using and to be including with the tweets that we send out for you, so that your stuff is being seen by people who are using those hashtags and searching for them. When you want to think about using them, think about it from 2 perspectives. One is, you can try to make up your own and be funny and clever, and that's great if it catches on. But if it doesn't catch on, you're kind of shouting in an empty room, because nobody else is using it, therefore nobody else can use it to find you. But if you are using ones that are going on already, then again you're finding stuff, or you're getting found. And so when you want to figure out what hashtags are hitting, there's a couple of ways to do this. One of the things that I like to do, there's a great site. It's called hashtagify.me. So at Edge Theory, we have an internal Twitter scraper that we use, but we also rely on some third-party stuff like this. And so what you can do is you put in a term that you're interested in finding out more about, and then what it does is it shows you related hashtags and recent tweets featuring that hashtag. Okay. And so based on the size of the bar here, it shows you the kind of the relationship between the one you looked up and some other frequently used hashtags, and then it'll tell you some popularity and some correlation percentages and stuff. But then you can really kind of track this down a little bit of a rabbit hole if you want, because you can figure out, okay, people who are using hashtag healthy are also using hashtag food. Well, what's that related to? And so if you want to have a healthy food conversation, go figure out what conversations or hashtags are being used in that particular conversation. So this is an easy way to figure that out and to tell what's going on. For those of you all that are a little more comfortable with browser plugins and things like that, there is another site out there called RightTag. And what RightTag does is, righttag.com, should have known that, is you actually have to install something on your browser. But when you do, what happens is you can start typing a hashtag, and you get a pop-up in your Twitter window that tells you, hey, this one's a great one to use. This one's not a great one to use based on how many people are actually using it. And it'll tell you in real time right there on the screen. So that's a super helpful one as well. And this is a free thing, but you do have to sign in to use it. But once you install it on your browser, you're all set. So that's one thought on how to find hashtags. Again, when we're tweeting for you through Soundboard stuff, we're doing this for you, but it's also valuable. Remember our point last week, you're not just a healthy living entity. That's not your only purpose in life. That's not the only thing that you want or need to talk about. So other ways to find what's going on are those sites. Now, how do you use a hashtag? Okay, so a hashtag is anytime you start typing, you hit the pound sign, don't put a space, and then just start typing. If you use a space bar or any kind of punctuation, it will break the hashtag. And so if you see people writing really long ones sometimes with multiple words, you'll see they capitalize the first letter of each word just to make it easier to read. I love more fruits and veggies is hard to read if it's all lowercase. So when you're on Twitter and you want to tweet, so we're going to hit our tweet button up here. We're going to compose a new tweet. And we start typing, what it's going to do is, even Twitter will recommend active hashtags as you type. Now, I'm not interested in including myself in a conversation about a heroin web series or Helsinki or hepatitis. So let's keep typing and see what we get. All right, so we've got healthy nation, healthy eating, healthy living. But notice that Twitter doesn't tell you squat about the value of any of these. And so I actually don't have RightTag turned on at the moment. But if you did, it would tell you in nice, beautiful colors what is working well. All right, so you can go ahead and grab one of these or just leave it how you want. But you notice that this has a capital H and a capital E for easier reading. You can do this. I love to eat my veggies. All right, this is probably not a very good hashtag. Hard to read. Probably not a lot of other people using it. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of that. But what happens is once you use it, Twitter automatically turns it into a live link. All right, so let's just do an example here. Alan uses hashtag leadership. So when we hit this, we're taking to all the tweets that are using that particular hashtag, again, regardless of whether or not we follow any of these people. Oh, Ernest. I miss our old Ernest. Anyway, you can figure out, what's going on in the world of leadership based on just hitting that, searching for that. And then if you see something that you're interested in or you want to contribute to this conversation, now that we've done a search based on this hashtag, you hit tweet and let me see. If you create a search on Twitter for a particular hashtag and Twitter knows you're looking for that thing, then you go to tweet and it'll automatically, well, I need to cancel this out here. It'll typically automatically, yeah, there it goes. So we've made a search. Twitter thinks we're interested in using this, and so when we hit tweet, it'll automatically include that for us. Okay. So remember, just using hashtags, you'll see people, if you want to make one up, if you have this like great idea that's just hilarious, by all means use it, but also insert a hashtag that other people are using so that you actually get some traction out of it. Now, trends. Twitter is really good about telling you trends. So this is an older screenshot. I probably took it last fall. It's pretty political. But trends, there's two ways to think about trends. So some are very immediate, like, a piece of news that pops up, or again, the piece of bad news that popped up yesterday about the shooting. That kind of hashtag will catch on like that. But there are planned trends ahead of time. So organizations will plan an entire campaign and they will announce the hashtag that they want you to use, like JPCon. We all should be using hashtag JPCon like crazy this week and next week, because we want to all be included in that same conversation. March was National Nutrition Month. I don't know if you paid attention to the stuff that we were putting out for you through the soundboard, but we were using National Nutrition Month a good deal because there were lots and lots of dietitians and nutritionists talking about nutrition. Surprise, surprise. August, off the top of my head, I know is More Fruits and Veggies Month. It's a national thing. We will, blast that one from the rooftops. I think May is National Grilling Month. Anyway, so we're doing a lot of research on our end at Soundboard so that we can have you tied into these things. But it's a great idea for you to think about your interests. Maybe somebody in your family survived colon cancer. March was Colon Cancer Awareness Month. So every month has multiple cancer awarenesses. Every month has multiple infirmity awarenesses. So, you have something to say about those conversations a lot of times with your nutritional approach to things. So you can easily research them ahead of time. So as far as the trends go, when you go to Twitter, over here on the left side here, we've got trends. So I don't even know what all these are, but we've got something is going on live right now. That's a big deal. Of course, Sean Spicer, not making the smartest statement in the world yesterday or today, so he's trending. I'm sure we could figure out what this meant if we clicked on it. Some kind of reunion, maybe a band, news about this individual, and then sometimes funny tweets or funny hashtags catch on like this, where people just pile in on the thought, and feel free to include yourself in those if you want. But you can easily get a sense of what's going on Twitter just by checking the trends, and then you can come do a Google search for, let's look for April nutrition hashtags and see if we can find anything. So this site, tophashtags.com, is kind of a junk site. I tend to stay away from that. No, let's do like this. Let's do April awareness, health awareness, health month. Let's do that. April health month. Let's see what's going on. So for April health, all right. So we've got, what can we contribute to that makes sense from a nutritional standpoint? This is IBS, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what that is. But you get the point. You can look this stuff up. And again, this is the kind of stuff that we're trying to include you in on Public Health Week. We did a little bit of that through Soundboard. That was last week. We've got Every Kid Healthy Week is going to be the last week in April. So we'll certainly be doing a lot of stuff about, family nutrition, kids nutrition, things like that. Jamie, you have any thoughts on that?
I saw it's Occupational Therapy Month. We have a lot of therapists in our team.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, National Athletic Training Month. We've got some athletic trainers. Yep.
Yeah, so it's more than, what we're looking at here obviously is all health related, but there's a lot of fun and goofy stuff out there too if you want to think outside the health box. We had World Health Day. That one kind of came and went. So, but there's other, cancer stuff that y'all could probably be involved with.
Yeah.
Across the various months. So we'll keep y'all informed of that as we go. Autism Awareness Month. Yeah. Okay, so that's the trends, and don't think that you're always having to scramble to find them. Is the big takeaway there. Okay, so as far as audience goes, one of the things that you hear me say a lot through these trainings is that it doesn't matter about the size of your follower base on Twitter, and that's true. But here's the caveat to that. There is one little threshold that we need to clear to be included in searches more frequently, and that is the 50 follower mark. It's kind of an invisible hurdle that Twitter has put out there, because if you have less than 50 followers, especially if your account's been active for over 6 months, then you tend to not show up in searches because Twitter doesn't think you're a real person. Because if you're doing Twitter the right way, you would have picked up organic followers more than that in that time span. So here's the right way to go build followers. Follow other real people that you're interested in, and 9 times out of 10, they will follow you back. Of course, go follow all your friends and all that stuff. As you're on Twitter longer and longer, you are going to get followed by random accounts. Don't let that bother you. But you are going to be followed by random accounts that are offering one of two things. One is social media training, advice, and expertise to help you grow your follower base. Or two, they'll flat out say, we're going to sell you followers. And you can buy 10, 20, 50,000 followers for definitely less than $100. And your follower base will go overnight. Okay, two things about that. One is you are not buying actual engagement. You are buying a number, and it is a vanity thing. You are not buying real people being interested in you. You are buying fake bot accounts to follow you in mass. A large portion of them are probably going to be in Arabic or Chinese. And when your friends notice that your followers go from 179 to 50,179 in 2 days, everybody goes, woo. Less important than that, though, is that Twitter goes, Twitter's really, really, really cracking down on this. And so what they do is they do these massive bot sweeps. And so you can go to bed one night with 50,000 followers that you just paid for, and you can wake up the next morning with 32,000 followers because Twitter has closed huge swaths of these accounts in mass. The other thing that happens is, and Twitter's really been vocal about this, but they're working hard on shutting down ISIS recruitment, hate speech, and a lot of the garbage that's coming out of the Middle Eastern conflicts in recruitment and indoctrination. And so many of those accounts are falsely inflated. And so when you're doing something like buying followers, Twitter actually significantly downgrades your organic reach, for lack of a better term. And so we have clients at Edge Theory that have come to us after doing something like this, businesses who are trying to dig themselves out because on their official channels, through bad advice down in the past, they've bought these followers, and now their engagement rate is absolutely terrible because Twitter's punishing them for it. So all that to say, please don't fall into the temptation of doing that. Now, the right way to do it is slow and steady wins the race. I hear left and right, up and down from Soundboard subscribers, hey, I'm picking up new followers all the time because of the great content that's out there. That's certainly the goal. But there's nothing wrong with trying to build it on your own. Okay, so the best way to do this is search for a topic that you're interested in, and then notice up here you got top, latest, and people. Click on people, and this is going to connect you with accounts that are talking about this. Now, when you're looking at specific accounts, you need to make a guess about how this is going to turn out for you. If it's something that you really want to follow because you like their content, by all means follow them. But check the ratio, okay, on their followers to following. This account has 20,000 followers and is only following 6,000 people. They're probably not going to follow you back. So you really have two intentions when you follow somebody. Is one, you want to know what they have to say, but two, you want them to follow you back. So accounts like this, the Beyoncés of the world, the President Obamas of the world, who have 50 million followers and follow 300 accounts, you're not going to get a follow back. But if you're interested in what they have to say, do it. And sometimes you'll be surprised at businesses. I mean, this is Food Network's blog, so yeah, you're not going to get a follow back from this. But there's probably going to be some really great stuff that comes through here that you can share with your followers, or just read and grow from. So the other thing that I recommend doing is look for, if you're in a specific area, look for stuff by location, because you're going to be able to find, if you're in an area, in a specific area, there's no reason not to follow local businesses. All right. I mean, that's a great ratio. They'll follow you back in a heartbeat, and get connected with, some local businesses and people and influencers this way. Anything from gyms to health food stores to 5K organizations, CrossFit stuff, your local parks and recs department, another thing that you can do is, if there's something specific, go check out an account. This is a training gym in Dallas. See who follows them and go follow some of those people, right? Go make those kind of connections, because these people are interested in, ultimately the same thing. So when you go follow a dietitian or a nutritionist, go see who follows them and try to make some connections that way. Now, remember, I know that this is a weird concept for some people. I understand that you're making totally random connections on this platform. But that is what this is all about. This is not Facebook. You've got to leave your social media thoughts about Facebook over there, because this place is all about rubbing elbows with new people, and it's all about getting follows and interactions from people who you have no idea who they are. And it's going to be okay. It's not going to, no one's going to come knock your door down or anything, terrible from that. So the other thing that I like to mention when we talk about this is, once you really get a head of steam going on this, and I try to do this with this particular account because it matters to me how this account comes across to other people. And so, like I said, occasionally you will pick up a follower that you don't want. All right, here's a perfect example. There's nothing illicit about this, but I don't really care to have some cannabis account associated with this. Okay, so you got three choices. So I'm looking at my followers here. I clicked on my followers. So you can do one of three things. You click these dots here. You can mute them, which means if you were to follow them, you would not see their stuff. Okay, no, that's not even true. If you mute them, you'll never see what they publish. If you block them, then they can no longer follow you. Okay, I'm going to do that with cannabis expertise here. You can, if something is pornographic, you can report it, and Twitter will do their best to take it down. That has only happened maybe 5 times to me in 8 years on this platform. But there's a lot of trash in the world, as we all know. But so I'm not going to report this account because there's technically doesn't agree with my worldview, but there's nothing wrong with the way that they're handling themselves. But I'm going to block this because I don't want them to follow me. I don't want my followers to see that. So if we refresh this page now, they would be gone. So I would say don't get too deep in the weeds, about this. If some random social media service or some random marketing account person follows you, let it ride. Keep that number up. But
So James, they still see you. You're just not seeing them.
they can still see us. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And there, so yeah. So when people come and look at this and see who's following me, then they don't see anything crazy. So the last thought is, after you get going, you combine what we talked about last week with what we talked about this week. Especially if Soundboard's tweeting for you, you really got to stay on top of your engagements. Okay, so keep your notifications turned on. Everything can be found here when you're on desktop under notifications. I think on when you're on your app, I think it's a bell icon as well. But this is where it tells you where everything happens. All right, so I was pretty pleased today. Juice Plus Live, the account that's going to be all about the conference next week, retweeted a tweet that I put out about connecting with everybody and had a little video to our soundboard. And so Joe, my boss, and Juice Plus retweeted that. So it also tells you who follows you, right? So you can just hover over an account here. Mary, if you're on the call, I'm going to pick on you, sorry. Mary, like we talked about last week, and they changed this since last week. Last week it was an egg. Now it's not an egg anymore. It's this little silhouette. So anyway, Mary doesn't have an icon. Mary has a Twitter name that is going to be hard to remember. I don't know anything about Mary, so I'm probably not going to follow her back. But Lauren is interested in health and happiness. Why not follow Lauren back, even though Lauren has a bad Twitter name? Lauren, if you're on the call, sorry. We'll follow Lauren. So here's, the kind of etiquette. If somebody follows you, check them out, and then if it's appropriate, follow them back. This guy's trying to build up curiosity about his book. Not interested. Jill is a Soundboard subscriber. I followed her already. So then the next thing you can do when you're thinking about engagement is, what are people reacting to? Okay, so let's pick on Raj here. Raj, you're not on the call. So Raj retweeted a tweet that said, the key to making healthy decisions is to respect your future self. Honor him or her. And then we had a link to a Juice Plus. Now, Raj liked that. So I'm going to go, let's put me in the shoes of somebody who's trying to move some product here. Let's go check out Raj. And let's see what other things he's interested in, okay? So he's interested in quitting smoking, quitting smoking. All right, we can kind of tell where he's going. Okay. So if we were to want to make a connection with Raj, and we do for the sake of this argument, right? You notice I hit the tweet to button and it brings up his Twitter handle. So he's going to get a notification that we're talking to him, and we'll say, I'll be a little cheesy here, thanks for the retweet. How's the how do you phrase this? How's the attempt at stopping smoking going? Here's to getting healthy. I can't type when people are staring at me. All right. So here's how you make a connection. Again, Twitter's light. It can be funny. It can be goofy. But this is how you start the process of making a conversation with somebody who has already shown interest in you and engaged with your content. Okay? So that's really the easiest thing I could tell you to do as far as staying on top of notifications and engagement. Now, 99% of the people that engage with me on this handle are Soundboard subscribers. So, I'm not trying to move product or sell anything to them, but I certainly want to follow them back, when it's appropriate. This account, I don't know what they're selling, but I don't want it. But this person was a Soundboard subscriber, so go through, take the time to notice what's going on is the big takeaway here. Because I hear over and over from Soundboard subscribers, well, you guys were tweeting for me, but I don't really know what happened, and nobody, asked for my business card or anything. And I said, well, were your notifications turned on? And they would say, what's that? And then I would show them how to do it, and they'd be like, oh, okay. So please take the time to do that, and I think you will be very pleased with the results. So we went 2 minutes over, so sorry, everybody.
Looks like you have a question.
Oh, okay. Let me pull this up. The difference between tweeting to or sending a message to when engaging with someone new. Okay, so the difference between tweeting and messaging is when you send a tweet to somebody. All right, I won't send this one all the way, but we'll show an example here. So here's Hope. Hope retweeted something. We definitely need to follow Hope. So when you tweet to someone, you have 127 characters left to do this in. So because Hope's Twitter handle takes up some of our space. So you got to think about this in two regards. One is that when you start conversations with people, you want to start it here because you want this to be a public thing. If you immediately switch to direct message, which I'll show you in a minute, it's a little bit sketchy, and I'll tell you why when we get there. But you want to start conversations, respond to people through the native Twitter app so that everything's out on the table. And you have to be short and sweet and to the point. And so that's a good thing. Now, a direct message is Twitter's in-app private messaging system, just like Facebook Messenger or texting. And it does not have a character count limit. So you can carry on a legit conversation here. But I encourage you to be cautious about trying to get the conversation here too fast because, and I'll go to my messages and just show y'all, there are so many spammy, even sometimes virusy things that happen with direct messages on Twitter that I want to caution you all against doing this. And if you've got something like this set up, there's 1,000 ways to do it wrong and like 3 ways to do it right. Okay. What most people do, there's a number of services. Community is one of them. Crowdfire is another one. But what happens is you can set up an automatic direct message to people when they do some action to your account. So if they follow you. So this obviously is trash. I would not even open this if you gave me $5 because I can guarantee you this is a virus. All right. Nicholas is a real person. I've interacted with him on Twitter, but he has this. This is pretty innocuous. I mean, it's fine. It's a thanks for following auto message. But this, to me, where's the one? This to me screams, I don't quite know how to take the time to be personal on Twitter. Okay. And CC, if you're on the call.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But to me, this stuff drives me up the wall and it makes me completely want to ignore, what this person has to say because, and I can't remember if I said this last week or not, but I'll say it right now. The Juice Plus Nation, you all are the most delightful group of people that I have the pleasure to work with because I do soundboards for a lot of different industries and everybody else leads with the product and everybody else then starts talking about fast cash and Lamborghinis. You guys are so missionally minded and you care so deeply about people first and people's health first, and the product is a natural inroad to that. What you're looking at is the opposite of that to me.
Right.
This is really spammy. So that's why I'm showing you all this and saying all this. If somebody retweets you or follows you and you shoot them a direct message of something like this, you have lost them. So just be aware of, you know, the cheesiness of this, and also people are suspicious of direct messages on Twitter because, again, I promise you, if you clicked on this right here, you would have some garbage on your computer without even downloading anything. You know, this system's been hijacked. All that to say, if you have a conversation going back and forth, you know, with somebody like Hope on Twitter, and it's a normal conversation, you can then ask, hey, either can we switch to DM so we can actually talk, or can I call you? You know, because at that point you're ready to have a real conversation with them. So that was a long answer.
That's a great question. I'm glad it was asked.
Yeah. So B, if you are if you have an automatic thing set up, I'm sorry if I was a little harsh there, but I just have a real opinion about it, because you can see, I mean, I just get it all the time. I mean, I don't even know if, I know that there's probably a compliance issue here, because some of these that I get, it's all about, you know, free samples and, you know, weight loss and all this stuff. And it doesn't represent the brand well to me at all. So there you go.
And I think, though, in our old, like maybe in the Facebook world of thinking, is that if you respond to somebody where everybody sees it, then you're like annoying everybody else with your reply. And so it's different on Twitter.
It is very different. Yeah. Because even though your replies are public, your followers don't see them unless they intentionally come to your profile and click on tweets and replies.
Right.
You know, and so now they can see our goofy tweet to Raj, but that's not going to clog up their feed, you know. So
yeah, there's so much on Twitter that the whole algorithm, right? Like not everybody necessarily sees it.
Right, but it can be seen.
Right.
You know,
right.
It is all public. So
awesome.
Okay.
Well, I know next week we take a break because we will all be in Anaheim, and then we will resume the following week. So we look forward, James, for some of our team to be able to see you next week.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet everybody. And if y'all have checked out our Facebook page, we've been doing some interviews with different folks, and you probably got an email if you've already signed up for Soundboard about it. But we're bringing camera and doing live interviews from the Juice Plus floor. So if I grab you for an interview, we'd love to get everybody's thoughts on, you know, just social media in general, how it impacts your business, Soundboard, you know, what you think about, you know, the chances for the Braves to win the World Series, whatever you want to talk about, we'll make it happen. So.
Well, I think these little things you're teaching us are game changers. So I'm excited for week 3.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay. Everybody have a great Easter weekend and safe travels, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, James.
Okay. Good night.